Hello, War the Visions fans. I'm Jackie Fox, and it looks like we're going to be having another comment response video. But more than that, while I sip the tea of the grape, tea of the scuppernong in this case specifically, I'm going to be talking about Limited Arena and my feelings about it because honestly, it's like Christmas to me. It's day one of Limited Arena. I'm maybe about 40 fights deep, I want to say, and I'm currently undefeated with multiple teams. It's very exciting, and I'm going to be putting a ton of that footage throughout this. I'm probably going to start recording once I hit my last refill. Let's talk about some comments. Oh my god, there's so many of them, by the way. Thank you all so much for responding to as many videos as you have recently. Really appreciate it. It helps the channel, and it's really helped with the views recently as well. So, Benju says, so A Cloud can go with the Greatsword meta with A2 and Wet Jeume. Absolutely, I think that's the team. That is the team right now. My focus is on One Wing, Sephiroth, and Kadaj. Love them, and you know what, Benju, I'm gonna love you. And by the way, we're probably gonna get a couple more comments like that because Benju is the best. And like, not just for me, but like this guy is supporting a bunch of other wotv content creators with their comments, and like we all appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much. Who's better, Ashen King Mont or Cloud? Well, it's kind of hard to say given that neither of those are out on global. I can't really play around with them to the level that I would like before answering that question. But because I have to go at this point on what little JP content I could get of people trying him out yesterday. And it feels like, from what they're saying, that he may not be quite as strong as Ashen King Mont. But the thing is, there's like a couple of hours of which they've had time to have their units 140 before these videos came out, so like, I don't know that these are the best takes. And also, as the meta is redefining itself, it becomes kind of hard to know exactly what's going to work against future units, because all of these units have, in addition to having just generally better stat boards, you know, Ashen Mont, Jeume, and all of these collaboration units are going to have enhanced boards, which means that they're just going to get better stats than other units, or at least units that have been released so far. So even Tifa is going to be an absolute powerhouse because of this. And this applies equally to Mont and Cloud. I think, though, that perhaps Ashen King Mont is probably the stronger character in a vacuum by himself. But at the same time, if I scroll up like one comment, Ashen King Mont is a warrior, so his job synergies, while I think he's going to be great on Earth teams, very powerful, probably better on an Earth team than Cloud is going to be on a Light team. But I think that Advent Cloud goes with this Greatsword meta, and that includes Jeume and A2, who is, while she's kind of stuck in this weird armpit of the moment right before they started giving these greater boards to characters, which is kind of what I was warning about, how she may not age well, because like board upgrades aren't even a thing that we're talking about at this point, you know? Like, that may happen in 6 months, that older characters start getting like nodes that just give them a bunch of extra stats to make up for this, but like A2's not going to get that for a very long time compared to even other characters, even if that is a possibility. So she's, and you know, Volke too, they're all stuck in this armpit of like coming out right before the baseline power level of new units goes up considerably for one reason or another. But also all of these characters break a certain part of what was expected of previous characters. Ashen Mont is just such a good breaker in single target damage and can hit multiple characters, and also has a bunch of really crazy status in the way that he can just inflict silence specifically, can just shut down mages. And there's a lot of characters here who can shut down mages. Cloud can shut down mages. Jeume can shut down mages. But I think the thing that might, for the moment, make Cloud the better character is that he fits into a really powerful greatsword team with another next level character. That's also what's going to make the Sephiroth and Kadaj team with another katana unit, probably Dario maybe, or even old Sephiroth, also really powerful. And I think that in the short term at least, those things are going to be stronger than Ashen Mont, even if Ashen Mont is a slightly stronger character in a vacuum, because he's either held back by Earth, not to the same degree, but the elements just aren't quite as strong as the jobs are these days, I think. And his job is Knight, which is just not great. Like, there's definitely potential there, but he's really the beginning of that potential, not the end. And maybe when we get like a really good Knight into the future, perhaps Ashen King Mont comes back as an even more powerful character on that team. But for right now, I think in terms of application, Cloud is probably going to be better, but Ashen King Mont might be the better character in a vacuum. And all of that being said, that's just a prediction because we barely know at this point. I got this in a 50 Viz paid pull because I was bored. Talking about A Moment's Peace. It's a good card. Tifa is insane. A wind player like me will weep. There's no way around saying that, like, getting free Tifa of this power is going to be huge for Ice. It's going to be huge for Strike. Like, they're getting a free upgrade into this newest power level, and that's just awesome. But that being said, while maybe like Tifa being on a team is enough to beat a Wind team, I don't think Tifa's strongest teams are going to be Ice teams necessarily. Although, like, if I could find enough vision cards to support this more on the job side, I would really love to see like Tifa, Barret, and Snow on the same team. That might be really interesting. I don't know. But I really think that her best synergies are going to be within like mostly Rainbow Strike teams. Although I guess like again, Snow and Tifa could work really well together against Wind. Eddie Garin says, awesome vid. Always look forward to your future in-depth reviews for FF and collab characters. We'll try to use 2P Snow Tifa and A2 Snow Tifa. 2P Snow Tifa. Yeah, that, so evasion there is interesting for one, but it looks like that's going to be a good defense team because that's definitely going to bring in Wind units. So like, my dude from above playing Wind is really going to have to look out, is really going to have to question, 2Ps that they see. Because at this, after this collaboration, they could very likely have a Snow and a Tifa behind them, and that's going to be a really great team. I would also say, like, similarly, Wind players should probably also maybe avoid Uriel for the same reasons. Cyberdragon says, I'm so excited for this collab and Cloud. Fabio Guilherme Silva Henry, yep, I said that. I'm excited, another Cloud. I thought they would bring Zack or Angel, but I was wrong. Well, I don't think either of them were in Advent Children. But like, yeah, I don't know why we haven't had like Crisis Core just to bring us Zack. Like, it could even be like a mini collaboration that's just Zack. You could also get a Cisne, but you know, as a free unit, that would be cool. But and Geel, yeah, that would almost have to come from Crisis Core as well. That could be a good second character. Pride Fallen on my Connecting War of the Visions and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius through lore says, your theory regarding Citra meeting Jaden, though through one way or another, is confusing. I don't think she would let him leave alive if they met. She would have killed him on the spot. Although I would have liked to know more about how Jaden knows any of the Veritas. I'm an FFB player. I haven't played wotv all that much. So the one that he might have a chance of knowing would be, I guess, Gilgamesh, Veritas of the Frost. But yeah, no, that does make sense. Citra, especially in her armored form, was very strong-willed in that way. It probably wouldn't have ended well for him. But you know, it's also possible. Like, I remember this really specifically with. As an FFB player, just assuming that you're watching Pride Fallen, as an FFB player, I remember, I think it was Ayaka, or maybe a second form of Ayaka. She came with like her own side thing that explained her history as a healer in farm. And I remember in that story it being a lot more direct, that in the future of that story, 500 years in the future, they had her crystal, and they used her crystal to summon a vision of Ayaka. The crystal that was left behind when she died. Obviously, this didn't happen here, but it also shows us how these visions can be like historical beings. And where it might be possible that just through hearing their story, knowing their legend, it is possible to summon them in a way, if you have the power of visions, which in FFB was rare, and it still is in War of the Visions, but it's tied to rings in a way that it was just kind of given to the heroes for whatever reason in FFB. So perhaps the question to ask here is, how does Jaden know of the legend of the Veritas of the Light? And unfortunately, even as a wotv player, I still don't know the answer to that question. I'm so excited for this collab. It just can't come soon enough. I'm saving for Sephiroth again, LOL. When do you think Advent Children Cloud will drop in global? Around another 2 months? Probably closer to 1. It feels like this was timed a bit with like the global anniversary. Like they waited for the global anniversary to start dropping the first units that had this newer power level. Both as Ashen Mont on the JP side, which was already scheduled, and as Jeume on both sides as a celebration of our anniversary. So it feels like this increase in power level is timed with our anniversary specifically. So I'd be really surprised if we didn't get this collaboration fast-tracked to about the fastest they usually do with collaborations, which is about a month. That's supposed to be the window gap between us and JP. It in practice is a little bit longer than that, but what I've noticed recently, especially with collaborations, is that we get them a little bit sooner than maybe, like, if they have to push a different limited or different type of unit maybe to the other side of it or release it during the collaboration when it would have come out after it or before it, they'll do that because they'll prioritize and get that collaboration in there a little bit sooner. And this has happened with the last couple. So I think we'll get it sooner rather than later because they don't seem to want to leave us hanging too long on these collaboration units. Irvin says about my EX Job Awakening for Folka. Got mine to 107 yesterday, hopefully 115 next week. Yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of competing in Limited Arena, I guess. And then Smorg Feather says I'm still at level 89. Benju says, love me. Skip all, just don't skip AC Sephiroth. I love him. I might get Kadaj too, his teenage version for me. So for myself, I'm definitely going to be building Cloud. Not for Greatsword team, even though I think that's where he's best. Maybe I'll have him for a future Greatsword team. Maybe I'll just play him on a Cloud team if Cloud upgrades come at some point that are good. I'm surprised in a way that they haven't seemed to have come with this collaboration, so we shouldn't really expect that, but hopefully there's going to be some sort of a refresh of them soon. Which I think at this point would just be limit burst upgrades for them. But Cloud's probably going to be on my light team for sure. Just because, I mean, it's Cloud. Like, how can I, as a Final Fantasy fan of Final Fantasy VII specifically, not get Cloud somehow and try to make him work? But also Tifa, because it looks like she's just the next-gen strike unit, and I want that. Strike and Pierce being the same account, I'm going to have to choose building Tifa over pulling for Volke. And I definitely can't afford to pity him anyways, because I've already invested pretty heavily in Jeume. Another Binshu comment, my own meta is with Sephiroth only. Twin Sephiroth and Kadaj. And I really think that that's going to be the Katana team, like, post-collaboration. It's going to be a lot to pull for at once, but good luck to anybody who already has Sephiroth saving up for that. That's going to be a bit. But hey, there's definitely, like, potentially free-to-play players that have been just waiting for the next big thing that still have maybe 60 or 70k viz burning a hole in their pockets. Turfling Aster Tartarquarius says, what about Melnia with Ashen Mont? Melnia build, TMR Roy Mustang, decrease AP 20 per hit, and she's got select move weapon crit build. Select move weapon crit build. Yeah. Accessory Sharpshooter's Monocle, decrease AP 10 per hit and must crit. She would be a great support with Mont and another Earth team. They melt enemy AP and put to sleep if lucky. And actually, you know what? I've already left a comment here, but I've actually got a new comment for this. So I gotta admit that Melnia is a bit of a blind spot for me. I know she's good, but I haven't gotten her much past EX yet. So I can't confirm. And I don't also see many people run her either because she came out late. So she was kind of overshadowed by the time she came out. But like, she looks good and I think she'll be good with Ashen Mont. But also with Advent Children Tifa, like, she already does a lot of the things that you're talking about doing here. Maybe in addition to Melnia, but maybe using part of this build additionally. Because, like, Yeah, it's just 2 accessories. So there's like no reason. Or maybe Roy Mustang's was his coat. I don't remember exactly. Maybe it's his lighter. I don't know. But, you know, Tifa could probably slot on these things, I think. Which would just, I mean, this is synergistic with her gloves. So now it's 15 AP per crit. And then 20 more AP per hit. And then, like, her basic, one of her basic moves that removes a 20 AP per hit already. So that's 20, 40, 55 AP on crit. And 40 AP on hit. Good grief. Cyber Dragon asks to join my guild, and if you would like to join my guild, because I'm in 2, we both need some people. My guild, the one that I lead, is Silkus, a bit lower in the ranks, a bit more casual, but also that's kind of caused us to lose some players, in that, like, we're just kind of a magnet for players that are kind of the first to go sometimes when things start getting slow in the game. And honestly, I haven't done enough recruiting to really, like, fix that problem. But if there's even 10 of you out there who are reasonably committed to this game and are willing to put in some effort in guild battle, we could start gaining ranks and get ourselves into Legend or even Ares by the time this guy comes out. So look us up. We're Silkus. We're the only Silkus. And then there's Gasol Union, who's already in Taurus 3, which is nice. I still thought we were in Ares, because apparently I can't tell the difference between a goat and a bull, but anyways, send a request to whichever seems more suited to your skill level. Master 3 isn't honestly that bad for a more casual player. Sometimes we run into rougher guilds, but usually it's pretty easy to stomp on them. Taurus is pretty competitive though, but we're not quite a top 100 guild, so it's still kind of manageable as long as you've been playing for a while. Sad to see how the mage meta got skipped. I was so ready for it. Meta FTP Gamer 654 says, nice to see you make content more regularly. One of my, like, it's weird how AI and, like, algorithms are just ripping into so many more places in our life. But one of the suggested comments for this was more to come, and I just thought it was funny. I'm gonna leave that comment. Benju says, I'm here for Sephiroth. On the top 60 units. Also, top 60 units, solid list from Serenade Silhouette. I would say Sephiroth's only weakness is not having courage or re-raise himself. He still puts in a ton of work for me. I'm switching from my dark team to an ice team because this game seems to have given me every ice unit minus Snow and Velis. Yeah, I know, right? The non-limited ice units, there was a patch where I just started pulling them back to back on just free pulls and stuff. Like free tickets, they would just be like, oh, you have Reagan now. Okay. My Oldoa A2 is not fully maxed for me, but showing more synergy than my Raph Sephiroth combo. Yeah. I mean, Raph Sephiroth was really good when it was newer. But it's been a while. Oldoa A2 is a pretty great update to that. I mean, and kind of similar too. You've got a spunky, if not a bit powerful, meta-defining tank. And you've got someone with a really big fucking sword and big tortured antagonist energy. So an easy way, I think, like, I talk about Cloud getting courage, but it would be really interesting to see Sephiroth get, like, re-raise somewhere in his kit, like, added into one of his buffs. Maybe Veil of Woe, like the woe is he can't die. I don't know. Coming back from the dead is a very Sephiroth thing, is all I'm gonna say. Zombie Sephiroth. I really like the idea of maybe giving him like re-raise with his maybe with like his limit burst upgrade actually gives him re-raise, because I think that's what it would have to be at this point. I don't think they would necessarily upgrade him in a different way. So, you know, his LB hopefully will give him re-raise. Cloud can get courage. That they both kind of need that. But also, the cool thing about Sephiroth's LB is that he forces everybody else to play with that same restriction. Like, he brings everyone else back down to his level. Which is really interesting. It's a big equalizer. Which, you know, in a follow-up comment, they would also say basically the same thing. The LB is a great equalizer. Definitely important for him to pop it off against all these newer units. I believe Shalza bestows courage to another unit. Having a dark support unit like that would make him really good because he has a ton of survivability already. Yeah, like, he has a lot of elemental resistances, which is good at making him like an all-rounder. He's one of the like staple kind of wall archetypes for guild battle and has been for a while. You'll still see a lot of guilds running like multiple dark wall teams because Sephiroth is reasonably good at dealing with most people. But also, Shalza gives herself courage and removes, lowers her hate as well, which really helps her as a support. It's a really powerful skill for her. You know, I see teams like Shalza, Jeume, and A2 just putting a bunch of extra courage on probably A2 since Jeume already has it. So that everyone on the team has courage now. Jeume has extra re-raise, so I have no doubt it would work here, especially if like the new unit had an elemental synergy with Sephiroth. But also, we're potentially walking into that scenario. I kind of feel like the new Sephiroth will likely have some sort of a survivability mechanic. It feels like re-raise is very on brand for Sephiroth. Again, you know, coming back to life is kind of a Sephiroth thing. So I can definitely see Sephiroth having re-raise, which if he does, that's going to mean that he can get courage and re-raise through Shalza, and she shares an elemental synergy with him. I think that Shalza could potentially, for that reason, if those predictions hold up, be a really good partner for the new Fire Sephiroth. But that also might be a reason that they don't build him that way, just because that synergy would be too strong. That being said, giving you a great way to use a 70 cost unit, thumbs up. Krauser says on Sephiroth, big skip, maybe Cloud if I can make it. If not, skip 2. Benju on my Sephiroth announcement post.
Today's Wednesday, and this is your daily drive.
I told you, he's here. But like, Benju, seriously, how did you know so long ago? You were talking about like Advent Children and Kadaj. Like, is there a 5th anniversary re-release of, or not 5th? God, I don't want to think about how long it's been since Advent Children came out, but is there like an anniversary re-release there or something that that I didn't know about? And even if there is, like, generally, War of the Visions especially has been really bad at following those. Again, no Crisis Core, even though we got a Crisis Core remade, reloaded, whatever. Even before Rebirth. No Man Left says, nice, Benju, lol, he got his mini-viz ready for Double Seth and the Sun team. See, like, even 4 days ago, people knew you were running Benju. I think you've been saying this on like every wotv video. I should start checking other people's comments for your foresightful comments. Ebony Blade says, happy for free Tifa, and maybe going for Kadaj has a water main. Yeah. On my community post explaining kind of my meta changes in Guild Battle, in which Bradley drops off, there's one of 3 units to drop 8 whole ranks. Banksy says, Bradley's new BFF will bring it back into prominence very soon. So Bradley is oddly enough a knight, which means that he has a job and elemental synergy with Ashen King Mont, and that's what Banksy is referencing here. And I also agree. I absolutely think that it will. Like, this is a temporary embarrassment for Bradley, and I don't think he's a bad unit. I think he's definitely coming back as soon as next generation teams can support him better. That's my interpretation of that username. No, they are not worth. Use VC medals for shards. Talking about the discounted select shard tickets that could be used to summon hollow shards. And like, VC medals help, but I don't have that many. And like, I can't use stars for these. So they're really hard to get your hands on, and I really appreciate being able to just spend discounted amounts of Viz for them. I mean, it's cheaper than like literally buying their shards from the shop on Banner. So pretty great, like especially if I wasn't able to pull these on Banner, because Hollow VCs are ridiculous to pull on Banner. I need a lot for them, the ones that I do eventually pull, like going for other characters and stuff, which luckily isn't super hard. They're not that hard to pull. They're just really hard to pity is the issue. It's hard to get the one you want. Looking at Oldoa's video, Deco says she's made for Sodley with Immortal Dogma, which would make them the charm duo. They both do have charm style skills, so that could be a thing. Turfing Aster Terquarius says Max Hollow Mont and Stern VC for Spear Team. Worth investing my 2k Bizior for this VC shard. Yes. That sounds like a fantastic investment. Oh, this... No. Federic? I trying to figure out what this says backwards. The sort of... I'm an Earth player, so sad to see that Queen Macherie and Zazan the Unkillable didn't make it onto your list. Even the old reliable support Ayaka was nowhere to be found. Welp. Yeah, no, I agree with you on Queen Macherie and Zazan. Like, Zazan's on my Guild Battle offense team, and especially against Lightning, my boy will kill the first team before, like, Bradley gets in range, which is so weird because Bradley has insane range. But he will murder the entire other team. And usually 2 out of 3 units can't hit him, and the one that can isn't doing much damage. And he just murders them 1 or 2 at a time. It's pretty nuts. I don't think that he's like super competitive in top tier stuff. And I think that he's kind of been aging for a while and hasn't necessarily got the upgrades that he needs. However, the updates are on wotv Calc already. So I can tell you now that his Limit Burst upgrade is going to decrease critical damage resistance 20 for 3 turns for target before dealing damage. It increases his HP, which is always done. The modifier is being increased from 200 to 240. It will then increase his human killer by 20 forever. Remove after 3 hits received. It also will increase his single target resistance by 25 for 3 turns. And also ignore sure hit for 3 turns for self. So, good resistances here. Good ability to ignore sure hit if... I mean, again, in my previous example, versus a lightning team, it's often my experience that 2 out of 3 units can't hit him to begin with. It's not necessarily that the third one has sure hit either, but sometimes that's an issue. I definitely think that this is going to help him. He was at one point a really strong evasion unit, but I don't know. I'm not sure that that's necessarily how he keeps up anymore, which kind of puts him in league with a lot of other ignore sure hit units to where, I mean, Yuffie is still a menace. But other than her, there haven't been a lot of good ignore sure hit units, probably for a reason, because Yuffie is still a menace. Actually, also, this is a... I should probably pin this comment. Can I pin this comment for me? I can't. But on my top 60, I wanted to clarify, so I added this comment. I think for a lot of people with the new limited Earth evasion units, or even the older ones, Time Accelerant is such a good buff that despite what I said in the video, it's enough to raise Rinoa into the B tier. That also makes me think that Garnet might move down to C tier, because I'm just not sure that there's enough room in B tier for the both of them when they're doing fairly similar things in the same element. On the looking at the future of Faith and Bravery farming and the fact that it takes like an hour now and that they're going up 1 faith per minute, wow, what a good quality of life improvement, says Shalevereth. Manny Villanueva says, seems like we forgot to put Dark Ketone on the list. It's like how I just forgot to drink liquid. Looking at the top 60, yeah, Shadowlink's the Crystal Board was one of the last units that I added, and I tried to squeeze her in there, but even as small as she is, she was hard to fit. So, and really I think the thing that edged her out was that the teams that I think support her the best are using units like Summer Glaciella and Jeume, the Spring Celestial, and they're just kind of the strongest teams in the game. And Strike is still doing really good, but there's been a lot of things that can challenge Strike that have been added to the game recently. It seems like the last run of units has really had 2 things in common off and on. Sleep resistance to deal with Helena, and strike resistance to deal with Elia. And honestly, it's a smart move. It is adapting to the state of the game. It makes sense, but it means that Dark Ketone and the teams that she's on have been pushed down just a little bit. So when I had to pick one to edge out the other, I did what I did. Although You know, I do like Dark Katone much better as a unit. I think she's really cool. She just does a lot. Feels a little bit like Death by a Thousand Cuts. It feels like the individual things that she's doing, none of which are impactful enough to matter a ton. But the fact that she does so many of them so fast, it's a really, really cool interpretation of her as a ninja, because it's like she's not any stronger, but she hits you so many more times and does so many more things. Turfing Aster Tate Aquarius on the top 60 videos says, gotta try Jaden Ice with Volke. Both have Grimoire Keeper sub jobs, so I guess I can play with AP Destroy. You really have a theme, don't you? Against physical team, but probably put Fang in team so Jaden lasts longer. I hope they buff Jaden MA2 AP cost rate down. I haven't been running him a lot, but like I haven't seen as many. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know my Jaden well enough to comment on that. Like I've been running him for maybe a week, so I just got him up there. Hope for new VC, especially Hollow VC. What was this? Oh, right. Wait, ooh. Thanks for the reminder here. Yeah, it looks like next week is when we get our give back reward tickets. For people who've been playing the game for a while, it is going to be a lot of tickets. So yeah, that makes sense. Like, hope for getting your Hollow PCs. Maybe, well, in theory, Jeume the Spring Celestial should be on that list, so that would be a really cool thing to grab off of those tickets. LPK says, holy shit, yes, I should have been getting a nice sum. Here's hoping. And yeah, I mean, like, it runs up until, from the beginning of the game until 8 days ago. So, I guess busy you've spent in the last 8 days isn't really going to help this. But, yeah, for us older players, it's going to be a lot of free summons. It's going to be pretty cool. Brings up there. You save him for Ashen Mont. Or hoping that Ashen Mont will be on this, but Ashen Mont is a limited unit. So he's not going to be in the potential pull. Again, Jeume should be, because she's not a limited unit, but you know, typically these are like just regular pulls. Just mass. Like the free pull ticket that you can earn for doing all of the daily rewards every day, or all the daily missions every day. Yeah, it's basically going to be those. I think the last time they did this, they included the global exclusive units, so maybe units that just got upgrades like Zazan and Duan and Elena. Dwayne, I don't... Look, y'all have gaslit me. You wotv content creators have gaslit me so much on how this man's name is pronounced. I don't even know anymore. It's gotta be Dwayne though, right? Like, y'all are just saying it weird? Okay, whatever. Alright, so this is gonna be my last comment for the video. Meta FTP Gamer says, keep pumping up the video. The wotv community needs more content creators. My video concept guide for the top 60 units. And awesome. Thanks for the engagement, my dude. And I would like to be a more central content creator in this space. That would be cool. While I'm here though, while you're here though, and while it's a brand new thing, I just kind of briefly look. I got all of these unlocked for myself. I've even played around with Cezanne. I haven't seen him use his LB very much though, so who knows. But Elena, her LB upgrade will remove shell for targets before dealing damages in an AoE, so this could do quite a bit. It will increase her evasion rate by 25, and it will nullify CT down for 3 turns on her. Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess nullify a sure hit with her being a far more evasive unit, even than Zazan might have been too much to ask for. Kind of what you hope for on this type of unit though, but maybe you hope that that never happens. And then Dwayne, finally Dwayne. So this has already been upgraded once to reduce its AP consumption, but it's going to reduce its AP consumption even more, but also decrease elemental chain resistance by 40 for targets before dealing damage. Then it's going to deal a 2-hit skill. This is a 2-hit skill, so this is going to benefit from that elemental chain resistance being lowered. It will absorb 50% of damage down, which it already did. But then it's going to reduce physical damage 3 times for self and seal barrier destruction for targets. So potentially, especially if you hit their entire team, they will have no way to remove that 50% physical barrier from him without just like punching their way through it, I guess. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in. It's been an early and strange morning. I've got a lot of PvP to get back to. Still haven't recorded the PvP that I'm going to show in this video yet. But thank you for watching regardless. And, you know, future Jackie, I hope your matches are going well. And editor Jackie, I hope you're finding some great things to put in here. And to all my viewers out there, I hope you're having a great day. Remember to like and subscribe. If you made it this far in the video, really, it would help out a lot. And leave a comment. You'll be in the next viewer comments video. That's one of the rewards of leaving a comment on these videos. You can just kind of look for the next comment response video, and I'll probably give you a long answer to your question, in addition to hopefully giving you a short answer in the interim. But also, guys, I write books. Bookity books. Yours will not have this not for resale thing on them. That's just an author copy quirk. But if you would like to support the channel, this would be my favorite way of you doing so. I've got more books in both of these series coming soon, so if you like them, it's not just going to be a dead end. It will not be your Final Fantasy. How have I never used that pun before? Thank you, Wine. And thank you for tuning in. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Woo!